Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody throughout this crazy world, this is your boy the Monkey Man, and it is time for episode 2 of Roll Call Raw Talk. And I don't have my Raws. I have zero idea where my pack of Raws are, but that's okay. We got Raw filters, so they're here in spirit, so we're still working with Raws. So, I have been looking over my first video. I have been figuring out what I want to do with the first one and the second one and everything like that. So first thing I did was I pre-ground what I had to make it easier. So I'm going to keep with the theme, and we're going to be talking about video games. And for this paper, we're going to go for, what is this? Humboldt Fire from, I think this is Czech Republic. So we're going to find out. Now, I do not, again, like the first video, I do not sponsor any of these brands. I just like to smoke and I like to talk. And if anybody, so if nothing else, you get an honest truth about the brands. So, I believe for today's Raw Talk, we should continue the theme with video games and explain the specific kind of video games that I would do. Now, as I said, I am not a multiplayer fan. I am not a competitive type in the slightest. However, I love a good storyline. I love single player stories that'll keep me playing forever. That's what I'm playing right now. BioShock 1 and then eventually BioShock 2. Again, not sponsored, just a fan. I always preferred games that had long storylines that could keep my attention for a long, long time. Because, again, I didn't really have a lot of people to hang out with. If anybody has seen my Straight from the Monkey's Mouth episodes. So I would spend a lot of time alone in my room and... no, that is not what I thought it was. So, video games was a great outlet for me. Hey, ladies. And through that, again, I never went online and did all kinds of stuff with people or whatever. No, I just did single player games. Behind this camera is a shelf full of, last I counted, 64 video games of countless different varieties of different consoles, because I have a small collection of consoles as well. Get that in and get this started. Now, what I like about these single player games is, again, and I want something that will keep my attention for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, and it just drives me in. My earliest favorite games, I started with the Nintendo 64, and no, I lied. I started with the gray Game Boy Brick. These are some weird papers. I'm not used to rolling them. Was the Game Boy Brick. Where is my poker? There it is. I had that, and it was, what was it? It was Tetris, it was Mario Golf, and it was tennis. Those were my first 3 video games ever. And then shortly after, that's when the video game craze started coming in. I was born in 93, give you guys an idea. So, my first ever game console was the Nintendo 64. And my earliest memories was Mario 64, Toy Story game. I don't know why, but it was. It had a bunch of things. And this was also when Blockbuster around, so we had a bunch of things. So I had a Nintendo 64, I had a GameCube, I had 2 different PlayStation 2s, I had Xbox 360, Xbox Original, Xbox 360 again. And I never kept any of my consoles. Unfortunately, there's a couple games that I had that I wish I did keep, that I'm looking back now to come back on my childhood collection, and it's just like, what? Kind of breaks my heart, but at the same time, it warms my heart. It really does. This is going to be an interesting one, but we shall all figure out how this cone smokes when we deal with it. But I like the aesthetics of stories with characters that you can really get into. I like stories that can keep you encapsulated and intrigued for hours upon hours, and where you lose track of time, just falling in love with the environment. I like the characters, the bad guys, the groups, everything like that, the townspeople, even the smallest details. I like everything from the small details. I like lore. I like story. That's basically what I did and what I go with my music. I like stories. That's just what I do. Competitive? I mean, sure. I love me some Tekken. I love me some Soul Calibur. But in all honesty, I am mostly just storyline. Sure, give me with Tekken and Soul Calibur. Give me with Forza Motorsport. Herds for fun playing that stuff. I will play that stuff for hours, but not my first choice and immediate pick. Now, as I said, I prefer stories with like good lore. That's why I said the Elder Scrolls is, of course, always a massive play. Bioshock. I like games that, upon general close inspection, you don't. It seems like just either a horror game or a shoot 'em up game like Gears of War. But then once you go through it and go many hours, you look and realize, oh wait, I just spent all this time and I've fallen in love with stuff. I'm trying to get used to the camera. This is still on a cell phone and I'm just using the light, so it's gonna be dark. And I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy who likes to talk and keep himself right. I don't intend on making money from any of this. But hey, I do this on Snapchat, so I might as well do it on YouTube and let somebody get a laugh out of this, or maybe some joy of it. You know what? I can be one of those YouTubers now. I can say, if anybody does see this and actually likes this and actually enjoys this content, like, comment, subscribe. I get to actually say that now because I actually have been somewhat uploading videos. 2020 and 2021 has been interesting. I need a better lighter. Or my hemp wick. Or something. I don't even know where my hemp wick is. There we go. Clipper to the rescues. Now this is the proper way how you light a joint, people. Do not let it do your lips. And light it. No, 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 no. You make it a you twist it until there's a cherry. Everybody does it wrong. And you can, if the guy who creates Raw does it, I think you might want to listen. But anyways, let's see here. I like games like I was saying. I like games like Final Fantasy, which is encased in stories. I like games like Bioshock and Gears of War, where on the surface it looks like a general fantasy shooter or something like that, but then when you scratch the surface you start seeing, oh wait, there's a lot of things going on and there's a lot of story and rich lore behind it. I love that stuff. Kind of why I like Tekken and Soul Calibur. Yeah, it's a fighting game, but there's actually a story behind it, and I enjoyed that. Uh, I enjoy silly games like, for any old school, I will quote old school games. PlayStation 2, Nintendo 64, and stuff like that, I played most of those. So, silly games like Katamari, Ape Escape, what I was talking about in the last episode, Skylanders. Basically games where anybody of any age and any knowledge of video games could just pick up a controller and immediately know what they're doing. where they're like 5 minutes, immediately figure it out. Oh, I could give this controller to my mother and put in Katamari or Skylanders. She's never played a video game in her life. Never played any of my video games, but I know she could pick that up quick. It's kind of like Mario and stuff like Mario, Zelda, simple concepts. Any boy can pick it up quick. I like things like that. Call of Duty, that's kind of that I will admit is kind of a loophole. It's kind of a loophole. I don't play multiplayer. However, you want to talk storyline, the main storyline? Black Ops Black Ops. I didn't finish all of Black Ops, but what I started playing, I love Black Ops. And Ghost, I beat Ghost. That game was bad, yo. That game was great. And I can't lie, zombies? Oh, I'm on your ass. I'm not good, but I'm lucky. I am not the best at zombies, but I am lucky at zombies. Especially Black Ops 2 Transit. Oh, man. I can play Transit for hours and not get bored. Not get bored at all. So, I'm trying to think. What else? Of course, I've owned, like I said, I've owned a great break. So I've owned a fair share of handhelds. I never owned the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy Pocket. They were kind of the same thing, let's be honest here. But I owned a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy SP, the earliest DS, the DS Lite, multiples. I've been around. I was never around for the beginning of video games. But I lived through the biggest jump in video games when it started turning from beginning to 3D models to you got fucking toys, and my rare cuss because I'm trying not to cuss in these videos. You got toys that hold information and you can put it on a pedestal and actually play those characters. That's amazing. I remember playing video games on a floppy disk that you would get as like a toy at a kid's meal. They actually gave you, I want to say it was like Wendy's or something like that. They gave you like a floppy disk with games. Like at the earliest time of video games. It was crazy. Like I said, I am not a competitive gamer at all. Even to the end of this day. I am a video game addict, but I am never in the competitive state. I own a lot of video games. About a good half of these are games that I owned when I was a kid. I wanted to personally have all the games I had as a kid because when you're a kid, you gotta play these games. You gotta play video games to play video games, or at least it was for me. I didn't play any of the games to learn about the stories or stuff like that. No, I play Genka. Ooh, this character looks cool. I can punch things. Let's punch things. I stunk at video games as a kid, but I enjoyed myself. See, that's my opinion of video games. Video games should never be a competition. It's meant to have fun. They're meant for players to have fun. Some people's fun is competing, so I can't honestly complain. So I take that back. People like to compete. People like to bet money. Hey. Video games is a hustle, dog. To each their own. But it wasn't until I was grown up that I started really paying attention to the story, really listening to it, and really enjoying the story is that when I finally moved out at 23 years old, again, full story, straight from the monkey's mouth. If you guys are coming into, if anybody is coming into these videos for the first time with this, I would recommend watching the Straight from the Monkey's Mouth videos because that is my entire life story from start to finish, a recount. And again, yay, I can try and be a YouTuber because I want to try and make something like this for a while. Because again, I do this on Snapchat. Why not? So, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. This is just something to just hang out and smoke one and just chill and talk and just have fun. What do I talk about? Whatever I want. I need a break from being serious. I need a break from being serious. Straight from the monkey's mouth needed to be recorded. I needed to do that. And I needed that as an excuse to get back into YouTube and do things. Because I wanted to get back into YouTube, but I never had a reason. And I guess this loveliness that happened last year was incentive enough, if I do say so myself. This. And now I can do this, which I used to do which I do on Snapchat all the time. So I'm like, why not put it on here and just say that? And now I can just put it all into one and just count it all up. So, what I'm gonna do with it, what I'm talking about, it could be comic books, it could be video games, whatever I'm doing. And like literally, I'm playing BioShock right now. I paused and wanted a good role, so I thought, why not make a YouTube video? Because I just started a series that did that, and I want to talk about video games. And through this series, I want to talk about my favorite video games. The ones that are in these cases is the ones that really mean the most to me. What I want to do is go through what I've experienced with all these games. Now, none of these games are brand new. At all. You see, before I was at this location right here, where I am currently living, my previous apartment got robbed. I had an Xbox One at that time. Yeah, that got robbed. I used that as an excuse to go backwards in time. So now I have an Xbox 360, a PlayStation, I have a Wii that is backwards compatible to play GameCube games. I have an NES Classic, and I'm slowly building upon from there. I'm taking a break because I have a lot of video games that I have not beaten. And it's going to be a while before I put a dent in there because ADHD! And work, to be honest. Let's be honest, as big boy comes first. But you know what? I do this normally on one platform. I will keep saying this in this video because I feel these first videos are going to be introductions. And again, I talk about whatever. And until I get an audience, I will keep talking about whatever. If anybody actually likes these and wants suggestions about things I'll talk about, hey, leave a comment. I will listen. I will listen, and maybe if it's something interesting or early comments, hey, why not? But you know what? I'm gonna keep this thing as within a simple time frame to keep it easy. So what I said, hey, like, comment, subscribe if you like this. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everybody throughout this crazy world. This thing is almost up, so that is a good time frame to end this. This is the Monkey Man signing off.